Thank you. Thank you, dear friend. It's not only a pleasure, it's very important for me to be here today with you. And it's really a special honor to speak after the President of Israel, Rubi Rivlin. And I would like to express my appreciation, I believe our appreciation, not only for his words, but also for being here. Because the President of Israel, that comes basically from the same ideological home like mine, is fighting as a true liberal for the right of every Israeli to express his ideas, even or maybe especially ideas that are different than his. And it is important now more than ever, because this conference represents ideas that slowly but surely are becoming non-legitimate in Israel. Peace and democracy. This is the motto of this conference. My friends, peace became a dirty word in Israel last elections because peace is this thing that left wing is giving to the Palestinians. Democracy is going to be a dirty word in next elections because democracy is that thing that left wing is giving the Israeli Arabs. So now this is the time to be united and to fight for these words, because it's not only words, it's a matter of values, our values. Now, it's not going to be simple, because we are after years and years in which the Israeli Prime Minister labeled as enemy those who oppose his own views, those who think different. We all remember what happened in the last or during the last elections, what Netanyahu said about the Israeli Arabs. But the Prime Minister didn't just speak about the Israeli Arabs, something which is horrific enough for itself. It was a combination of Arabs, our enemies outside of Israel, Israeli Arabs, left-wing, left NGOs that are being financed by foreign governments, and they refer to all of us not as political opponents, but as real enemies. And the Haaretz, New York Times, New Israeli Fund, for him, is real enemy and a target, and we need to fight this together. And we need to fight against it, not for us, it's not about us, but for the Israeli citizens. We need to convince the Israeli citizens that there is hope for the state of Israel with our vision, with our values. This is the reason that we established the Zionist Union. And now we need to expand and to create a new and stronger camp in Israel as an ideological alternative. Now, my friends, to win the hearts and the minds of the Israeli citizens, they need to understand something which is obvious for us, that our vision represents, first of all, the Israeli interest, that the future of Israel is what drives us in making our decisions. Now, I hope that you will excuse me, but my vision is not about establishing a Palestinian state. My vision is not even two states for two peoples, because we need to make a distinction between a vision and between the road or the means or the interest or the means to achieve a goal. The concept of two states for two peoples, separation from the Palestinians, is the mean to achieve the goal. But my vision was, my vision is, and my vision will always be to keep Israel as a secure, democratic state in the land of Israel, Jewish democratic state in the land of Israel, but not on the entire land of Israel. This is the compass that shows us the way. Now, they all say in Israel, Jewish democratic. Simple words, but completely different words. Because for me, the Jewish state is the state of the Jewish people as a people. And I believe that it's a time to open a new dialogue between Israel, between us, and the world Jewry. Because what happens in Israel affects also the life of Israel Jewry. And I listen to you. I know that the grandparents cried with joy when the state of Israel was established, the miracle. Their children felt this fear when Israel was attacked in 6 Days War, in Yom Kippur War. What about the grandchildren? Some of them, unfortunately, feel alienated to the state of Israel. And there are those that expect them to defend us in the US campus. So for me, Judaism is not a religious matter, it's a national matter, especially not the monopoly of the ultra-Orthodox parties in Israel. Therefore, Israel needs to embrace the different streams of Judaism, not only by coming to visit a school here in the US, but also in Israel. For me, Judaism is a matter of values, and therefore, Israel is a Jewish state that each and every citizen is an equal rights citizen. And equal rights to the Israeli Arabs is not a favor to the Israeli Arab. It's not even a favor that Judaism or the Jewish state is giving to the Israel as a democracy. It's part of our Jewish values, not less than the democratic values. And therefore, the Jewish state cannot control the lives of another people, and the Jewish state cannot be a state in which you have different kinds of citizenship. And therefore, in order to have the values of the state of Israel as a Jewish and democratic state living in harmony and not in contradiction, we need to divide the ancient land of Israel and to support and fight for two states, for two different peoples. So my destination in the national Waze, in the national navigator, in the national GPS, is a Jewish democratic state based on these values. Therefore, making peace with the Palestinians, separating ourselves from them, is the road to achieve this destination. But I said that everybody in Israel says Jewish democratic state. There are those even saying two states. But when they are putting the destination, their destination, in their navigator, usually on their way to the government meeting, their destination is to keep the entire land of Israel. And in the long run, this will lead to giving up Zionism, the Jewish state, and we would face a binational, bloody state. And meantime, Israel democracy is the first one who pays the price. And the Supreme Court, for them, is an obstacle on the way, because the Supreme Court in Israel keeps Israel's values. Now, this is the choice. It's completely two different ways, between the entire land of Israel or between the Jewish democratic state. Amos, I'm thinking that maybe you should change the name from Haaretz to the Amdina, from the Haaretz to the state. But the problem is that the real discussion, we don't have this real discussion in Israel because of fear. The more we have deterioration in our security situation, this is the excuse for everything. The excuse to harm the Supreme Court, to excuse for labeling left-wing NGOs, even the excuse, not the real reason for the decisions on the natural gas. My friends, the last terror events in Israel made it clear that right-wing doesn't have the monopoly on security. And I say today that we can give more security to Israel. Our security concept is based on few elements. Firstly, security is IDF, is Tzahal. And now I say something not only as an Israeli leader, but also as a mother of 2 combat soldiers. And this is a message to breaking the silence. The right forum to give your information to is the formal, legal Israeli committees. And I say it also as a former Minister of Justice. The legal inspections that Israel is doing is the right thing, it's needed, and it's very serious. And this is also what gives legal defense to Israeli soldiers that just in the last few days I discovered, and it was published, that there were attempts to arrest them in London. Security based also on the relations with the US. Now, Netanyahu is not the first one that I would choose to keep good relations between Israel and the US. We can do it better, my friends. We are those that know also how to change the environment when we face this kind of terror. Because for us, working with the PA, it's the obvious, it's legitimate, it's not a dirty word. We believe that easing the life of the Palestinians and economical improvement is, or they are, our security interest, not a favor to them. And the most important, security is not settlement activities. Settlements don't give security to Israel, they take security from Israel. They affect the legitimacy of the state of Israel. And trust me, as a foreign minister, as a justice minister, as a leader of the opposition, when I try to convince world leaders that Israel has the right to defend itself, always, but also always, the criticism was a question how settlements activities are connected to your right to defend yourself. Maybe what you want is not security, but to keep the entire land. And therefore, the concept of Israel's security is not connected to settlements activities. But it's not enough to speak about a vision. There's a need to, to see and to look at realities on the ground. And we live in a tough neighborhood, and we need to understand that there is a religious war outside there, not between Muslim and all the others, but between part or groups of Muslims against the other Muslims, Jews, Christians, and all the others. On that side, you have different parts, Sunni, Shia, you have Iran, you have Daesh, you have Hezbollah, you have Hamas. They want to change the conflict into a religious one, and religious conflicts are unsolvable. They want to ignite Temple Mount, Haram al-Sharif. And I don't want, I wanted to say that the idea that Donald Trump decided not to come to Temple Mount was a very good idea. Now Israel now is in the other camp of the pragmatics, but not less important to say that the PA, the Palestinian Authority, is also with us, with the pragmatics in the region. They represent a conflict, but a national one. And it is solvable. And our ability to make alliance with the Arab world depends on our possibility to end the conflict with the Palestinians, and those Israelis telling you that you can reach an internal peace with the Arab world without the Palestinian state, they lies. And trust me, I met most of the Arab leaders. They want to continue to have a better relations with Israel, But they can't because of the conflict, because this is the glass ceiling. So if we can break this glass ceiling, it would change not only the relations between Israel and the Palestinians, but this can change the strategic situation of Israel in the region. Because peace would not be just with the Palestinians, but the entire Arab world. But unfortunately, I didn't succeed in doing so. Now, the next speaker is going to be Dr. Saib Arikat. And I know that when he would speak, and maybe even now, there is a question in the air. Is there a partner on the other side? And the answer would not be just by intentions, and not even by good speeches, and trust me, I know Saib is going to deliver a very good speech, like always. The true answer would be according to decision-making. But the mistake that we do when the focus is whether there is or there is no partner on the other side is that we are cooperating with those in Israel, that even if they would find a partner on the other side, they would never make peace with him because for them it's about the land of Israel. But now there's a fog. Since there is no partner on the other side, what's the use of trying? What's the use of continuing and preaching for peace and agreement with them? And it is true that they are using this fog in order to continue settlement activities, in order to prevent us from making peace in the future, when possible. And it is true that in order to end the conflict, we need another side, because ending the conflict, peace is based on two sides. And it is unfortunate that there was an American framework to continue the negotiation that bridged most of the gaps and put the parameters to the continuous negotiations. And I regret the fact that the Palestinians didn't give an answer to this. I believe that it was an historical, not less, an historical mistake. And I believe that another mistake was an American mistake, that they didn't put this framework on the table publicly in order to force the leaders to make decisions, public decisions, in order to have peoples both sides, Israeli and Palestinians, understand where their leaders are. And trust me, it could have changed the political scenes in Israel. It could have been the surprise of the life of Likud members supporting Netanyahu. And I'm sure Netanyahu would say, like always, that he has the ability, that it's an American paper. But the US decided not to do so, but it doesn't mean that we should give up, we won't. And we should keep, as I said, our destination and to move forward, and this is what the Palestinians are doing. They want a Palestinian state, they want to negotiate. If there are no negotiations, they are going to the International Forum. They know what their destination is. So let's define what our destination is and act in accordance to this interest. So if we cannot reach a complete, full, comprehensive peace treaty tomorrow morning, there are certain steps that we should do. First thing, to renew a real, sincere, open dialogue with the US, to prove that two states for two people it's not just a slogan. We are really serious on this, on the basis of the framework agreement, and simultaneously, without any connection, to take some steps on the ground. We can free settlement. In accordance to the idea that it's not Israel's security, we can keep security but by easing the life of Palestinians, giving more Area C for them to build and to live. And the principle is the things that are helping us to move forward to the destination. Yes, things that affecting Israel's security and would prevent us from reaching this destination in the future. No. This is what we can do. This is not what this government would do. And this is the reason for us to be in the opposition. I believe that this is the right place to be, because this is a story about borders and about security and about vision, two different visions, and we need to keep and tell this story, our values, our vision to the Israeli citizens and convince them that our vision is the right thing to support. And just to end this, just a short personal story. Because I said that Ruby Rivlin came from the same ideological home that I came from. And when I entered politics, when I joined politics, my father was not alive. Both my parents were freedom fighters. Irgun Etzel. They met while robbing a British train at night. They are the first couple that got married in the state of Israel, in Hei B'Yar Tashar. But yet my mother was alive, and I was speaking since day one in politics about two states, and I hope that she didn't hear me speaking about it, that she's busy, she didn't listen to radio or television. And one day she called me, and she said, listen, Tzipi, I hear you. It breaks my heart, but I see young people leaving for America, and we didn't fight in order to keep a state just for us, the old guys, to make your own, so make your own decisions. And this is what I'm trying to do today. Thank you.